is going to be a very short video. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. We're outside in the garden, and I get a question pretty often about how to build your raised bed. And so Fred is in the middle of building a small raised bed here. So I thought I would just sort of show you what he's done, and that may translate for you. What we have here is a bed that's, how long is this, Fred? 8 feet? Okay, this bed is about 8 feet long and 2 feet across. And the reason it's that size is because that's the space we had. It actually is at the end of a great big tree stump. And we're not going to get that ground out. Mostly because of the expense, and also because I like to set a great big flower pot on it. But he had this space, and so he has some landscape timbers. And these are 4 inches. When he gets them, they're 4 by 8. And these are not chemical treated, they are pressure treated. And they're pretty thick, and what we have found is that these last a lot longer than boards, even though if we had boards, we would be using boards. So, you can build it in any shape you want. I suggest you never go wider than 4 feet. I've got a couple of 5-foot beds, and they're really hard to work. And you can also go up another level. This is going to be 12 inches. The dirt, the soil underneath, and I see this happen a lot, by the way. This is built directly on the soil. There's no barrier there. And our goal in raised beds is not to build a great big container. Our goal is to sort of marshal the resources that you find in your soil, and that can build without quite so much leaching and washing if you maintain the soil in a bed. And we never, ever, ever have to till. So this is just a box, 8 feet long and 2 feet across, which didn't cost very much to build, but can cost a lot to fill. So I kind of caught Fred late. He's been working on this. But if you can see, about halfway up, he has filled this bed with aged wood chips. And there's also some chopped up leaves from when he cut grass. Or actually, we don't have grass. When he cut the weeds and the leaves, and he put that down in there. And that has been aging now for several months. And he is just now adding soil. Now this is soil, this is not potting soil that you would buy at a big box store. This is soil from another bed. We've broken down another bed, but we started out with garden soil and compost, a mixture of half garden soil, a quarter mushroom compost, and a quarter cow manure composted. So we're only going to have to fill up half of this, and if you're buying with soil, we only have to fill up half of it with soil. And if you're buying soil, that's your big expense. So in this particular bed, we had the soil and we're just moving it. But if you're buying the soil, filling it up halfway with the organic matter will save you half the cost of filling the bed. Here is a new bed, and when we plant in it, we will add more organic matter to the top. And as time goes on, we will add very little soil to this bed. We'll weed it, and if we have weeds, oh my goodness, I hope we don't have so many weeds this year. The gardeners lament. We'll weed it, and if we lose any soil in that process, we'll add some soil back. We'll mostly add compost, and we don't make enough compost to cover our needs, so we end up buying it actually by the square yard. So this is all I can tell you at this point about a raised bed. If you watch my videos, you'll see us planning in more established raised beds. But as you look at this, you should know I'm in Georgia, and Georgia is notorious for its red clay rocky soil. And when we first started gardening, that's what we had. We had solid hard pan red clay, and tilling and tilling and tilling was never going to help it. So that's why we're doing raised beds, and why we've done raised beds since a couple years after we started gardening. And the raised beds will eventually, this soil that we're building with the organic matter and the compost, 5 years from now, and I know that because I've done this in other beds, when you dig down, the good soil has grown down. You have much more than 1 foot of usable soil when you build a raised bed, but it takes a little while. So if you want to try raised beds, here's the way to go. And there are 2 books that I would suggest to you. One is The Vegetable Gardener's Bible by Ed Smith. The other is 4-Season Harvest by Elliott Coleman. They're both going to tell you about building the soil in a raised bed, and they'll tell you all kinds of information about what vegetables to plant where. They're very good books, and they're both sort of my tutorials. So thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. I hope this short video helped you decide how to go. Thanks.